Hello, everyone. Welcome to our, I think, fourth installment of Astro-Bash interviews with our lovely speakers. It is Camille again, and I'm here with Shelley. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak with you, especially before you head out on a great epic vacation. So these are very short format interviews. The first question usually is just explain who you are, your name, and you can give us your sun, moon, and rising if you want to.
Yes, I'm Shelley Hines. I am a double Taurus sun, 12th house sun, Taurus rising,
Nice.
and uh, tender Pisces moon in the 11th.
Hmm.
So, uh, I'm a practitioner with Stephen Forrest's AP program for a long time. I don't remember anymore, over a decade. And also currently with Mark Jones, who's a psychosynthesis instructor, practitioner, counselor in Wales, and I'm going to see him this summer.
Excellent.
Um, I'm an author. I'm an artist, a hypnotherapist, a nurse midwife, retired.
Is that your art in the background?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it all
Wow.
ready for a show. So yeah, it's all kind of cluttered up here.
Oh, that looks
And I
beautiful.
paint images of the feminine divine.
Oh, that is so excellent. I believe your talk is going to be about that as
Yes,
well, right?
the
Yeah.
feminine voice. Yes, yes.
Excellent, excellent.
It's our time.
It is. So what is your personal take on evolutionary astrology? How do you weave it into your practice? What are the kind of benefits or the high points to you?
Well, I was a midwife when I became awoken to astrology. I've been reading my sun sign since I could read.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad kind of introduced the occult teachings to me in a very conservative way, but he kind of niggled my conscience and
Sweet.
with that. And I um, found Stephen Forrest online, and I heard his voice, and I knew that that was my teacher's voice. So
Mm,
I went to Sedona. There was an uh, astrology blast in Sedona, Arizona,
nice.
and I met him and Dimitri, lots of people. There was Bob Hand was there, just tons of really, really good speakers. And
Yeah.
I went, okay, he is my teacher because I heard a lot of them. And then I ended up in his Southern tribe in Alpine, and it landed for me like this big wave of warmth, of
Mm.
remembering. And I silently wept
Oh, wow.
that I'd
Wow.
found my tribe. I'm in the second row and I'm sniffling and but I really felt like I'd come home.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The
And
the
so I do
feeling.
weave it. I weave it, I've been catching babies. I've delivered, I haven't delivered, women have delivered into my hands over 1,000 babies. And every
Wow.
time I open the birth chart, I get that same rush that I did
Yeah.
when I caught babies. It's the same
Yes.
for me. So
Absolutely. That's so
yeah.
magnificent. I was gonna say, I love what you say about like remembering instead of like, learning. I feel like I
Yeah.
had that experience as well when I was reading one of my first Stephen Forrest books. It was just like a resonance where I was like, this makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like I'm learning. It feels like I'm, remembering or being reminded. So that's really beautiful. My next question is why evolutionary astrology, right? So there's so many branches of astrology, so many ways to kind of interpret the cosmos. What
Yeah.
about evolutionary astrology, besides Stephen Forrest, I should say, really
Well,
draw you to kind of practice it formally?
my first book kind of fell into my hands rather
Mm-hmm.
mystically, and it was Jeffrey Wolf Green. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I heard about Stephen Forrest. And so I was reading Green. And since then I've read, the ancient um my soul remembers the ancient stuff too, but boy, it's time to evolve, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I honor and I bow deeply to the grandmothers and grandfathers and the current living astrologers that still practice the Hellenistic and the ancient ways. And I do
Yes.
sit in those classes and I enjoy them thoroughly. But my soul is screaming, evolve to something new and lighter. I've been kind of chastised by some of my fellow students friends
Mhm.
about not emphasizing the darker or the shadow or the Pluto. And I do, but it's just like I just see it as a necessity and as
Yeah.
a natural thing and that as a balance. But I don't want to wallow in it. I don't believe in victims. And so
Mm.
it's sort of my spin. I keep trying to go to the light, man.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But
And
I bring my shadow with me,
I was gonna say that's how we know what the light is, by the kind of
Yep,
darkness and the
yep,
counterplay with the shadow.
yep.
Absolutely. Um, this is kind of a fun one, but I've been asking folks, what is your most, annoying, or kind of like, what is the astrological misconception that is kind of out there in the pop world that kind
Oh,
of annoys you the most, or
um,
that you want to kind of address?
thing that annoys me, actually more than annoys me, it deeply concerns me. And that
Mm.
is that astrologers hurt people.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
With like
Yeah.
what they say or how they interpret things.
How they interpret things, fatalism, misinterpretation. Oh, I went to Stephen Forrest's weekend retreat and now I'm going to hang a shingle because now I'm an astrologer.
Mm.
Those people who don't have a true understanding of how to synthesize and how
Yeah.
to do the practice.
Yeah.
Um, you have to practice before you become artistic at it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, even me in my remembering, I have this sense of you're not ready yet, you're not ready yet, you're not ready yet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
so I, but that's just where I am in integrity with myself. So yeah, I think astrologers hurt people sometimes. That's
Yeah.
my biggest thing. And as a
I,
nurse, I don't want to hurt people. I want healings.
yeah,
I
it's
want
kind of like the
transformation.
Hippocratic Oath, right?
Yeah, and I
No
wanna
harm.
grow. Well, the Hippocratic Oath is for doctors. I'm a
Yeah.
nurse and I took nightingales, Florence
Ah.
Nightingale's oath. That's a different one,
Yes,
similar.
yes, yes,
So,
yes.
don't get me started on doctors.
I've
Yeah,
accidentally hit a trigger point.
the medical system is so broken now, isn't it? You know, along with all the other structures. So, I left nursing officially in New Year's Eve of 2018. And
Wow.
I tried to go back. I worked hospice for a while. It's broken everywhere. And
Mm.
they don't want people like myself asking the right questions to the
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
Yes. Change.
There be dragons.
Yeah, yeah. We need a lot of that overhauling,
We
everywhere.
do.
Need a
And
cult.
so I'm gonna just try. I do art. Art is therapy. I'm an author. I like to bring in astrology. In fact, I just can't get away from not seeing in simple anymore. Once I
Hmm.
woke up over a decade ago. It's just like, oh, well, that's this planet, that's that
Yeah.
combination.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really
Yeah.
like that. I like what you say about not causing harm, because that's also one of my main crusading points, right? People are like, oh, it's just words, or it's just like an interpretation I'm putting up on Twitter or on Instagram. But I've seen the way that people latch on to it, right?
Yes,
And then so much of my practice or just talking with people is like talking them off the ledge about like
yeah,
certain things in their chart. And I was like, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm sorry that
right,
you were told
right.
that.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe we can get this wrong.
Mm,
Okay,
mhm.
we are spirit embodied here, trying to work it out, trying to relate. But if we are, as the Judeo-Christian teachings say, created in God's image, then we're creators too. Let's create
Yeah.
some beauty, okay, and
Yes,
some peace and some love, right?
absolutely. I love that. I love that. So the last question here, what are you looking forward to the most at Astro-Bash? What about the experience made you want to come and speak? And kind of what are you looking forward to in that process?
Well, the desert dark sky is like the Pied Piper to my Pisces moon.
Yeah.
and and because we don't have it enough, and I'm old enough to remember dark skies as a
Ah,
child.
yeah.
Okay, lying in the grass, looking at the stars, and seeing the Pleiades, and being a double
Mm,
Taurus, and not knowing that Pleiades was connected. to the Taurian thing, or I thought I was looking at the Little Dipper. It's just
Yeah.
and then I grew and I evolved and I learned and I said, wow,
Mhm.
a Pleiades, Taurus.
Yeah.
And so and my tribe, these people understand my language and I can't go out in public. I've had these poor, frightened, um, innocent and ignorant souls step away from me in the grocery store if I was in conversation with another about astrology, like
Ooh,
I'm the witch, I'm
yeah.
I'm blasphemous, I'm a heretic. And yes,
Mhm.
I am all
Yeah.
that and more. But that's so sad to me, you know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, my tribe. I'm happy to be with my tribe.
Yeah, I can't wait to go for the same reason as you, the night sky, only I've never experienced it.
Oh,
I've
wow.
always just been around light pollution, so I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to that experience myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm a lifelong learner too. As a nurse,
same.
they say if you don't want to be a lifelong learner, get out of the profession. And I have a South Node in Gemini, so I always want to say
I was
that.
gonna say, that speaks to my Gemini. I have a Gemini
I
rising
knew it
and
would.
Mars. Yeah. I was like, what do you mean we're not gonna keep learning?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
spice of life.
Yep.
Um, well, thank you. Thank you so much, Shelley, for
Oh,
coming on here and explaining a little bit more about your take. Do you want to like go a little bit more into what you'll be speaking about at Astro-Bash? I know you kind of
I will
hinted it
be
before.
Yes, I will be teaching a little bit because we just have a time slot. So just a little flavor sample
Mhm.
of the voice of the feminine divine through asteroid talk. And through, in particular, Magdalena, which is
Hmm.
asteroid 318. And she is amazing. I'm a student of the Gnostic Gospels. And so I'll be weaving um, the story of Mary Magdalene with the
Hmm.
Magdalena. And
Nice.
I'm going to Cathar country tomorrow,
Yeah.
which is where um, the stories and the myths took the Magdalene after the
Wow.
Christ was crucified. So
Is that why you're going there?
yes, I'm doing research. Yes.
Nice. Well, that makes me so excited to then see your talk because you're going to the place where it happened and
Yes.
absorbing, yeah, all of that energy. That sounds so, so, so great. And I hope you have the best time. Um,
Oh,
Thank you so much for speaking to us. This has been an education for me, and thank you so much for sharing more about what you do and how you see astrology. For those that are watching, registration, of course, is still open for Astro Bash, and we extended our early bird registration, so you can swap in and get those lower prices before all the seats are taken. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this, and thank you, Shelley, for joining us here. And I hope you have a wonderful trip.
thank
Bye,
you very
everyone.
much. Peace and blessings.